starting off high.
We can get a two fools agree on that one.
Oh,
by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise back wolves?
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
Howdy there.
Also in the building, you know, she doesn't like to be on camera, but you'll hear her snide comments live instead of in the chat tonight. The Reets.
The Reets in the building.
What's going on, Mom?
Not much.
All right.
That's right.
Were you in town for a race?
Race on Sunday.
All right. She doesn't come back. She doesn't come back to see her son or her grandson, but she'll come back for a race.
She'll run by the house.
I'm here to see you too.
She'll run right by the house.
And this is the it used to be called Last Chance Marathon. Is it still just like a 1 mile loop 26 times?
Yep.
That's boring as shit.
It's not in the dark anymore.
Well, it's good that it's not in the dark, but that's boring. It used to be around Franklin Park in February. That race is miserable.
I bet.
Oh.
26 times around the same spot. Yeah, I guess that could be kind of boring.
Right? I can't imagine.
You know exactly where you are.
It's true.
Yeah. Do people get lost on the race?
I mean, those ultras, you got to be careful. You just disappear.
She's running them extreme. I never heard of extreme running before, but damn.
You never heard of extreme running? I haven't told you about Badwater. You know about Badwater.
Yeah.
But that's not extreme. That's insanity.
Yeah, man. That's something.
Oh, goodness
Yeah, I guess
gracious.
if you fall out running in 26 mile, you'll either get pulled to the side or stepped on. One of the two, but either way, they'll know you're there.
I would imagine that the hardest part is keeping track of what mile you're on.
That's why you have a Garmin.
Oh, that's true, I guess. I seem to remember the first time you ran that, you had like a bracelet. Like beads or something that you slid over. Or maybe that was just something we talked about and you didn't do.
I had beads at Mohican to keep track of the loops.
Oh, the loops.
Matt
That's what
made
it
them for
was.
me.
That's what it was.
All
right.
That's something.
Well, sir, what you got going on this week? How you doing?
Doing all right. Trying to finish up getting this shit together for this move.
Yeah. When you planning that?
I'm still waiting for the
work?
Yeah, the basement to be done, and then I can actually start,
Yeah,
moving stuff in there. Mm-hmm.
I get that.
So I don't know. I mean, it's a process.
It is, yeah. No, I get that. Especially after just going through the remodel, though, so I get it.
There's still a lot of work to be done. I feel like I didn't really do that. No, I've really been doing is just throwing shit away.
Yeah. Well, that's the first step. You don't want to move shit that shouldn't be moved, so throw it away.
Well, I guess I'm still on the first step.
Right, there you go.
Or give it to your kids.
Yeah, true. Or you can act like my mom, who every time she's in town, I end up with 3 boxes. I'm not really sure how that works, but
I don't want none of the shit I got.
I don't want none of the shit I got, and she's giving me more.
That's all yours.
Oh man! So you got any inadvertence to get us going tonight?
I do.
What you got?
I'm trying to think if I have more than one. I thought I had more than one, but I can't remember the second one right now.
Sir, are you a member of the Chinese Communist Party? Do you have you applied for citizenship in China?
No, that wouldn't be my spot.
Are you a member of the Chinese Communist National Party?
Me, no. They would want me in that motherfucker.
Did you see this dude? Did you see one of our esteemed U.S. senators questioning the CEO of TikTok and asking him the same question about him being Chinese or a member like 72 times?
I did.
And the dude's like, nah, motherfucker, I'm from Singapore. No,
he
senator.
just couldn't comprehend.
Right, like, but you look Chinese.
That's what that is.
No doubt, man. That shit was ridiculous.
I did see it. I saw clips of it. I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about, like what it was.
Oh, it was a big deal because...
Did I know it was about TikTok? I don't know.
So it was, and I'm sorry, I cut off your inadvertent. I didn't mean to do that.
No, you good. I didn't even start it.
So and this was what caught my eye this week. So not really an inadvertent thought, but they basically had all of the big tech CEOs testifying in front of Congress. And it was really focused around like social media and the dangers that social media poses, especially to the youth. And it's the standard protect the children, so we're going to regulate your free speech conversation.
Right.
Interesting takeaways. One was that whole interaction from, I don't even remember the senator's name, but the TikTok CEO just like, are you an idiot? Like, that's what he looked like.
That's the requirement.
Right. And then Zuckerberg actually like standing up and apologizing to families about the harm that social media has done to them. And one of the big things that they talked about was that every company will tell you what the lifetime value of a customer is, right? So what's the most that you can expect from a general customer given certain demographics, blah, blah, blah. And like the thing that people took umbrage with was like they basically took a teen and said that their lifetime value was $270 to Facebook. And I was just sitting there like, that's a really small number for for a teenager who, if you get them to use your platform for life, like...
But, yeah, I guess they do sell shit.
I mean, they do, but not, like, directly, I guess. But, like, even knowing Facebook owned by Meta, so looking at it as Meta, like, if you convert that person to an Oculus user, that's $300 right there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because that shit's not cheap.
But Oculus, yeah, it is.
And I mean, the Oculus Pro is like $700. So I don't know. But it was interesting because I think it was the first time where big tech actually acknowledged that there are problems. Like previously when big tech has gone in front of Congress, specifically the social media companies, it's been, we don't understand how you make money. So how can you say you're valued at X or Y or Z? But this was like the first time they got to like the heart of issues with them and basically saying, you know, you're echo chambers. And so it actually is dumbing down America. Just the harm from like bullying and harassment and how they don't do enough to stop it. Same with like basically underage pornography and that kind of stuff, like images and things that get shared quickly and widely, and the amount of scams and extortion scams that go through it. Like they talked about kids who have been through like sextortion scams, which is basically the premium Snapchat that then says, well, you signed up for a while, and when you quit, we're going to blackmail you and like send this to all your friends and family that you signed up for this at some point. Like there is a lot of shit like that out there, in terms of those kind of scams and shit. And most of the time ain't nothing ever going to happen, but like a teenager doesn't know that. A kid doesn't know that. And so you have kids that have ended up killing themselves versus having something come out because they couldn't pay some ridiculous ransom or extortion price. And even then, if you pay it, like they're just going to come back 6 months later and harass you about it again. Like the only way to not deal with that shit is just to block it and cross your fingers that it was all bullshit to begin with.
Or just say whatever it was you don't want them to share.
That's true too.
But I guess I don't. That's the only option. You know.
You got to Eminem it. Ha ha! 8 Mile this shit.
I do live in a
trailer with my mom. I do have a dumb fan named Shedda Bob and shot himself in his leg with his own gun.
But that's the crazy thing about it is nowadays, like, you may find a home.
Right.
Like, you're not the only one that signed up for that motherfucker.
Well, and I think you and I have talked about this, like, even when I was going to school for, like, interactive marketing in college, what they talked about at that point was the long tail effect of the internet. Like, to your point, you can find your niche. You can find, like, the deepest, most obscure things out there and find a community around it. And that was supposed to be a positive thing. And of course, we as humans have fucked that up and made it the most disturbed, fucked up shit that, that those communities sprout up around. But at the same time, like, the ability to access that kind of information isn't a bad thing. And, you and I and honestly a bunch of people in my life, like, we trade reels and TikToks and those kind of things all the time. And a lot of it is, like, thought-provoking stuff. Like, do I see the thirst traps out there, which is the hot girl bouncing around and, in a skimpy outfit? Yeah. Do I look? Maybe. But that's not... Right, exactly. So, like, being able... But then, when you send me something, or I send you something on, like, the Anunnaki, and how they found another tablet, and how you can start to connect things from the... What is it? The book of... Enoch, to different things in the Bible.
Enoch is the beginning, Revelations is the end.
Right.
And of course.
And so being able to, trace and have dialogue around things like that, and how creation myths tie to the story of Gilgamesh and things like that. Like, it's interesting, fascinating stuff. And I think getting our minds working and spinning in that way is a positive thing, but then you got to deal with the other side of it, and who's to decide what's right on the other side of it?
I think it would. I mean, honestly, I think it would be too hard to really monitor all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you always have hackers. You always got somebody that's up on this game. And I don't think that, he could do much to stop that from happening. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, you could limit, you could put up a security wall hard enough to get through that only the elite motherfuckers are hacking into this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and even talking about hacking,
But
like, I'm not even
you can't
talking.
really stop it.
I'm not even talking like
saying,
cybersecurity. I'm talking about, like, freedom of ideas and movement and speech and, like.
But that's the thing, though. That's why people were and should have been leery allowing their children onto social media at a young age. I don't think that you then get to blame Mark Zuckerberg or TikTok or anything like that, because you still have the power to be like, nah, G.
Yeah, you're not getting on this. And that's not to say kids won't.
Not right.
And that's not to say kids won't find a way, because if they really want to, they probably can. There's always a friend. There's always, going wherever to do that kind of stuff. But I'm with you. Like, if they can block me getting on Facebook or Google or whatever at work,
Right.
I should have no problem doing that for my child, right? Like, and I'm with you there. Like, I think what's interesting is that this is the first generation that we're actually dealing with this, really, is the generation right behind us, because it came out while we were in college or of college age or high school age. Like, Facebook, that's when Facebook hit. That's when MySpace hit.
Is my nephew getting bullied online?
No, I mean, they talk shit to each other, but he knows he's only allowed to be in party chats with people he knows.
Okay.
So, like,
About to say.
That's whatever. That's boys being boys, and if they weren't doing it online, they'd be doing it in, their mom or their family room with 4 of their friends playing GoldenEye with a thing of pizza in front of them. Like,
yeah, but that's that's how it's supposed to be, right?
I get it, and I don't disagree with that. Like, that's the reason why I let him have friends over, and why, like, fine, y'all can all play on your individual Switches together, but in the same room. Like, I'm with you there.
I mean, but it's no different than us on the thing. We just
were
all engaged with the screen. We learned how to tune motherfuckers out is what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't even pay attention to y'all. I'm in the screen with it.
It's funny. That came up at basketball practice earlier this week. Like, we were playing Around the World or something, and they were talking smack to each other. I'm like, you better learn how to tune that out.
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I hate to break it to you, kid, but
when you think about it, all that stuff is the, and watching this PC culture, I probably shouldn't even say this. All it is the Nigerian or the Indian scammer.
Yeah.
They're out there. There's nothing they can do to stop you from getting those calls or getting those emails. You just got to be smart enough to know
not to fall for it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing they can do to stop it. You have to be of the right mind to avoid.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And I think that, again, that comes back to education. And what I've been impressed with is, like, even, as much shit as we have given the education system in terms of not teaching actual life skills, like, my son had an internet safety course this year. And it was basically like, don't talk to anybody you don't know, or don't give personal information to anybody you don't know. Did you have to pay
extra for it?
No, it was just part of their regular, like, social emotional curriculum, which I thought was really cool.
You were paying extra for it.
Well, yeah, because it's in taxes or whatever.
Either way, you paid.
Yeah. I hear you, but that's my point, though. Like, it's good that we're having those conversations, because we didn't know what we didn't know when you and I were growing up. Like,
yeah, you just had
social media didn't exist. So I do think that, I don't necessarily think that it is a regulation thing. I think it is an education thing for parents, that parents need to be more aware of how they're interacting or how their child is interacting online. Like, when we were growing up, it was it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Now it's like, it's 10 p.m. Your kids are online. Do you know who they're talking to? Do you know what they're looking at? Do you know what they're watching? Because I do think that there is a risk of the youth being indoctrinated into, a lot of radical thinking. Feeling rejected, that find like-minded communities that then talk about going out and R-wording women one day. Like, you've got to be aware of that kind of stuff. Oh, you didn't hear about this? This was like a big thing last year in, like, April, that apparently,
online?
Yeah, that there was a big, like, oh, this is going to happen April 17th or some bullshit, and it never did. But those are the kind of things that, you got to kind of keep an eye out for, and help kids understand, like, just because you fall in and you immediately are attracted to one view doesn't mean it's the only view, and doesn't mean it's the right view.
All right.
And that's not to say there's a right and wrong view, but, like, there are wrong views.
Yeah, I think, and I know I say this all the time, probably not in this specific way, but like I said before, I get so sick of hearing right and left, liberal and conservative, red and blue. Like, that's all brainwash in itself.
Oh, completely agree.
like, because you have to label somebody to take away their actual characteristics. Like, people can feel a certain kind of way and lean a different way as well. You know what I'm saying? So that label, that's that line.
Well, it's become almost too all encompassing. Like, it shouldn't be someone as liberal or conservative. It should be they are liberal about this issue. They are conservative about this issue.
People don't have time to get to know you, so they just judge you off that one fact. And that's what, see, I find it so, I honestly find it funny and sad that, you know, I scroll through the comments on Instagram posts and whatever, and it'll be like patriotism, like patriots, right? You know, be like, yeah, these fucking left or these fucking liberals. And I think to myself, like, you're a fucking sheep.
Right.
Like, the very thing that you're talking about, like fighting against or revolting against the government, has you fucking brainwashed.
Right.
You're the one who is now doing the thing that they want you to do, so y'all don't understand that you have a common ground.
Right.
And I couldn't imagine myself ever being at war with someone if we shared the same ideals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? War usually comes from polar opposites clashing together. But if we're both operating the same under the same, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a war that one of them's already won. They're winning. They're winning as we speak. You feel what I'm saying? Just by you doing shit like that. Because a lot of the time you got a motherfucker wrong just based off a comment.
Right. No, completely agree. And I think that that's where, you know, I am so sick of people voting based on where a candidate stands on, like, abortion rights. Like, you know, honestly, that is such a personal issue that I'm like, for me, that comes down to the individual. Like,
I thought about this the other day, and understand when I say this isn't me endorsing a candidate or anything. You know what I'm saying? You know how I feel about it. I really don't much give a fuck who wins.
Right.
It doesn't really much matter to me, to be quite honest, because they're going to do what they planned on doing regardless.
Right, and they're all in the same. All of the candidates are in the same pocketbooks. Like, they're all in the same company's pockets.
But I thought to myself, right? Because, and it kind of goes back to like the comments where I see the, you know, the patriots, you know, like basically separating, putting walls up from the people who probably would be fighting alongside you if you understood you had that common ground. But I see that Make America Great Again coming back up because, you know, Trump's running again.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, what if that Make America Great Again was the conservatives defund the police?
Oh, yes.
well, understand how I say this, right? Because it was a lot of videos going on when people were saying defund the police and people were explaining like what they actually mean. And then you would get a conservative to be like, oh, I kind of understand that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. But that defund the police sounds crazy.
But make America Great Again means something to every individual that believes that, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, no, what I'm getting at is what if, because you got to think the people who used the term Make America Great Again were white.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the first thing a black person says when they hear that term is, at what point was it ever great?
Right.
Well, that's for you, bitch. For them, it was great, though. They didn't have to be one of the motherfuckers that was, you know, black, drink out the black fucking water fountain. They didn't have to be that person. All they recognized was, my life's cool.
Well, and again,
you feel what I'm saying?
If you look at, go ahead.
For black folks though, we automatically assume that they mean that when they say that. But that may not be, that may be the defund the police part that we're not quite understanding. They have no other thing to gauge it on.
Yeah. No, and
all I know was great back then. I don't necessarily mean for y'all or what happened to y'all.
Well,
but for us.
And then from my perspective on that, if I'm gonna take that to the next level, and we've had this talk a lot. Americans over the last 10 years are poorer than they were during the Great Depression.
Right.
Period.
So at least make it great as that shit.
Right.
Can we get as great as the Great Depression?
Right. Supposedly the worst economic event in this country's history. It is worse now. Looking purely at numbers, purely at inflation, purely at the cost of living. Not to mention the fact that, by the way, our cost of living has increased because, I'm sorry, you can't work in America without a cell phone these days. You can't work in America without reliable transportation, probably 5 to 15 miles away from where you live, because the ability to afford where you work is not what they pay.
Right.
And so from that perspective, yes, any point in history up until the last 15 years would be greater than where we're at right now.
Right. I just think it's a situation where I was thinking about it why does that, I know why it triggers so many people of color, and it's because of the people who adopted it.
Right. Well, it's the people,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly your point, though. It's the people who have flaunted it, who have adopted it, and then simultaneously, have MAGA and then have a Confederate flag, like those two flags right next to each other.
Right. And it makes you think that they're both one thing.
So you're connecting those two things in your mind when really they're not.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to think those people that think like that will adopt whoever they can that they can
they can rile up.
Right. Well, no, not rile up, but be riled by. You know what I'm saying? When somebody says something like "Make America Great Again." Oh, well, now they're the extreme end of the bunch where it's like, yeah, I want it great, like where we can spit on a nigger. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be extremes, though, is what I'm getting at.
Right. But just like the same way with defund the police, you had the people that had adopted it for complete anarchy. Like,
and again, I'm not.
We don't need the purge either.
I don't plan on voting, so it really doesn't matter to me who you vote for.
Well, and the fact that these are the two candidates they're putting up two 80-year-old fucking men, 80-year-old white men. That, what the fuck do they care? They're not going to be here in 5 years. They will be dead by then. So, why would we put something there should be an age limit on your ability to serve. You should not be allowed to be older than the age of 65. Period. Period.
I don't know about 65.
No, 65 is the number. That is the retirement age for people in this country. You don't give a fuck about anybody else at that point. All you're trying to do is line your pocketbooks and enjoy a good life. And that's what these fucking politicians are doing. I'm serious.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But not everybody retires at 65. That's why
I understand that, but if that is the retirement age,
55.
Yeah, that's the age where, it sounds kind of messed up, but your vote doesn't matter to you as much as it matters to
the younger generation. Absolutely.
Right.
So, I don't know.
And I guess that would go the same for policy, right? Because if you were a president of that, like you said, who gives a fuck? If I'm I already got my retirement set up.
No, the only thing that is motivating you at that point is 65 is your own comfort or establishing financial or comfort for your children.
Right.
And what is the quickest way to do that? It's not to do what's best for them. It's to do whoever's going to pay you the most money, contribute the most to your campaign, slide you the most under the table. that you can immediately funnel to where you want it to go, whether that's your own personal life or funnel it down to your kids.
Nah, I agree. But fuck that shit, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck that shit and fuck y'all's tea.
Put your salt in it.
Listen, fuck y'all's tea. That's what I'm saying. They gonna run that back. Like, was that code for something? Did he say a date before he said fuck y'all's tea? Is he calling for? No, I'm just playing.
Oh, all right, man. What you got? Sorry, this was interrupting your inadvertent.
No, you just tried to rock me to sleep to basically tell me that you ain't have one. Is what that
Nah,
was.
Man. It was a good, it was a good segue. It was a good segue.
This nigga segued before we even weighed. How did that work? We didn't even weigh first, and this motherfucking segue.
They see me rolling. Oh, that's a different segue.
Okay, so my inadvert, I burnt this shit out of myself the other day.
Burnt?
Yeah.
Like with fire?
With grease.
Oh, okay.
I burnt this shit out of myself. Like, I got it wrapped up now, but you can see like the drips. You see the red marks from.
How did you get it halfway up your arm? Is what I wanted to know. Did you splash?
No, it wasn't a splash. I was like, I think I was. Well, I was cooking. I remember cooking a steak. You know, I had, my little butter and shit in there, and I was, I had poured it off. And I had the cool water running. I was about to pour it into the sink, and I think the handle like twisted
on you.
Yeah, and the whole thing tipped and landed all on my arm.
Oh.
Like all on my arm.
Ouchie.
Ow.
Like if this was The Walking Dead, somebody would shoot me just off the arm. Like, I don't like the way that looks.
I don't like it
right now. But I was thinking, and this is how I know something's wrong with me, right? Because I was thinking, like, that cooked fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, that cooked pretty. Has to be a veteran, right? Like you can't be a brand new to the game cannibal, because you're gonna fuck the meat up. You know what I'm saying? Because apparently the way I burnt, humans cook like fish.
Chicken tastes like chicken.
Well, listen, chicken, you gotta cook that through. Listen, this didn't take too much at all.
He was a fryer.
Oh, stop it.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Yeah, all I'm getting at was, what's the one, Bundy? Ted Bundy?
Yes.
He ate a lot more than they claim he killed.
That was Dahmer.
That was Dahmer.
Oh, Dahmer. That's yeah. Yeah, he cooked a lot more than they said he killed. I'm telling you now.
You don't think he got it right on the first try? Maybe he just got it right on the first try.
No, he wasn't getting it right on the first try.
Think he burned it?
Yeah, it was over. Listen, I'm telling you, either that or he likes his human tartare.
Just going straight raw with it.
Because we cook quick.
But that was just the outer layer. That's just the skin. I want to know how the meat's doing.
Mama, you know what? I'm sure it's pretty rare.
Oh, so you're cooked medium rare. Brown on the outside, pink on the inside.
You know, that's without the burn, baby. That's without the burn. But yeah, I'm fucked up.
That's not good. Did you put like antibiotic ointment and stuff on it? That's what you got to watch out with that stuff is infection, dude. Put some
right
Neosporin or some stuff on there.
Yeah, I gotta get some. I ain't had no Neosporin, so I've been using Carmex.
I mean, I don't
It's
know.
it's Vaseline basically.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But that's not disinfectant.
right, but I've been peroxiding and alcohol in it.
All right. Oh, that's got to burn.
Yeah, it burns a lot, but you know.
Oh, man. I don't know how to
It
follow
burns a
that
lot.
up.
And the problem is every time I wrap it, it sticks, and then I just pull off everything, that healing layer every time I unwrap it.
Sounds like you need. Well, no, if you're doing the Vaseline on the bottom, that shouldn't have. Well, are you using just tape, or are you putting like
Well, you
a
know
pad
what, to
and
be fair,
then tape?
the first time I did do it with just tape.
Yeah, see, that's a mistake.
Well, I was in a rush, and I just didn't want to like rub it up against the inside of my coat, and I had to go somewhere. So I was like, let me just wrap it with some athletic tape. And then when I got back and pulled it off, it just stuck it. I said, oh, it's going to hurt. It hurt too.
You need one of those, you need like a pad or something, man. That's
I got some gauze I found, and I, loaded up with Carmex and smack it on there.
Sir, I do not want to have to come take you to the hospital to cut off your arm.
if it doesn't get too much better, I might go to urgent care or something.
Yeah. Antibiotics, at least.
Mm.
And if you start feeling sick at all, you need to go, because I don't want you going septic.
What kind of sick?
Septic. Where like the
No, you
infections
said if I start feeling sick at all. You said
like not nauseous or like I don't know. What are the symptoms of sepsis there?
Fever, pain, nausea.
Too, right?
If you see like a red streak going up your arm from it, that's a real bad thing.
A red streak
going upwards.
Because that would be the sign that it's infected and it's
spreading. I see what you're saying. No, it's just pink around the burn.
Knucklehead.
It's just pink around the burn.
We're doing live WebMD here on Cliff.
I mean, I be fucking myself up royally. Though. That's a fact, Jack.
That's not ideal, no.
I mean, I don't do it on purpose, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
You can't see it.
Yeah,
see enough of it. That's not great, dude.
I mean, the issue is that because of where it is, every time I bend my arm, I'm open. Pressing up against it, so it's not healing ideally.
Right.
And it only happened a couple of days ago.
Well, you're doing the right thing. Keep it covered. Keep putting whatever you can from a disinfectant on it. And
you think I should keep it covered?
If it's still open, that looked pretty still.
Oh, it's open.
Yeah, I would keep it covered then.
But the issue is, like I said, it's not going to close if every time I pull it right.
Well, then double up on disinfecting it and leave it open, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, get some Neosporin, put it on, and cover it when you're going to put a jacket or anything on. But otherwise, kind of leave it open sometimes, let it dry out a little bit.
My issue is when I'm asleep. When I'm asleep, I'm sure I'm scratching at it and everything. Because I'll wake up and it'll be bleeding a bit. So I'll probably
more discipline. You wreck discipline, Griff.
I mean, I don't know when I'm asleep. I'll be not. Hey, I got that pain tally on me.
That's true.
I cut myself and don't even know till I feel the blood.
Until it's dripping.
Oh, I'm bleeding.
Damn it! What happened? Son of a. All right. What else you got? Anything? Got any other inadvertence?
I'm trying to remember. I thought I had two. let's continue and I'll see if it comes back because I thought I almost had it. I didn't.
No.
I almost had it.
Well, I mean, what else you want to talk about? We didn't have any topics coming in tonight. I hit the one I wanted to hit in terms of social media in front of Congress and all that. And you sent me one today. What'd you send me today?
I don't know. I'll be sending shit.
You did. You did. You've been. It was like 3 or 4 days ago where I was like, you sent me like 6 before I think I woke up.
Listen.
You're sending me messages at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I did that. Your phone on silent.
It
Do
is.
not disturb. It ain't supposed to vibrate.
No, it didn't. But still, I wake up and I'm like,
yeah, that's what the plan was.
Got 32 messages.
You know what I'm saying? The plan was to bombard you with what did I send you? It was probably bullshit anyway.
I mean, like half of them are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, you hit me with a bunch right leading into the show tonight too.
I did. They said,
the Eminem exposure.
Yeah, that's wild to me, man.
Man,
that's wild. Not like wild, like couldn't see it happening, but wild, like damn, y'all motherfucking like, what did he do?
This was the start of the like was that the original piece of like the Benzino beef that Eminem and Benzino had? Was that Benzino was threatening to go public with this shit?
I don't know.
Like,
Is
you
that
remember,
right?
you remember, because they did a couple of disses back and forth there for a minute.
Yeah, I remember.
But then none of that came out, which makes me feel like, I don't know, this is almost like too late, and like Benzino hasn't been relevant in 20 years, and Eminem is getting popular again.
Other than his
so
daughter,
why not go after him? Like,
I think he's jealous of his daughter.
who? Benzino?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's possible.
Coy LeRae.
Yeah.
I think he's jealous of her for real. I think that's why he's trying to grab for attention.
Right.
But I mean,
is anybody really surprised by that though?
what?
Like
That he would be grabbing for attention, or
no, the whole Eminem, like before he got famous.
no? That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised by it. It's just wild that now is when it, comes out.
Right, like 30 years later. Like, I'm sure he has entirely different viewpoints now. Like, and that was a kid. It honestly, knowing the timing of that, because it was before he got big, dude was a teenager and hurt from being fucked over in a relationship is what it sounded like. And that doesn't mean that he's justified in going after like entire races of people. But I said some stupid shit too, so
yeah, we all have,
right?
I mean, I don't know though. Like, the irony is wild.
How is it ironic?
Because it's like, first of all, Eminem is the trailblazer of white boys rapping.
Yeah.
Not saying that there weren't people before him, but none like him. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the irony of this being the industry that you're trying to break into, for you to start your career off like that, my nigga, like that's wild. Like, that's wild. Like, country, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Rap? Rap?
But even more to that point, then, like, why didn't this come out earlier? Like, I'm not even listening to the tapes. I'm not sold that was him. Like, it almost sounds fake. You're gonna have to show me video. I'm gonna go. Oh, Dave Chappelle and R. Kelly on trial with this. How you gonna make me believe? Well, if he was holding two forms of government, did he?
I thought he spoke on it already.
Maybe he has, and I missed that because I don't follow this stuff as closely as you do.
I thought that's how we know that he got broke up with by a black girl.
No idea. No idea. So
I don't
if
know.
he's
I mean-
acknowledged it, then that's different. But like, I don't know. Like I said, I was about to go all, the Dave Chappelle is R. Kelly guilty things. Like, well, if he was holding two two forms of government ID and his grandma was there, oh, that's my R. Kelly just pissing on people.
That's just it's an interesting way to go. And what I find, why I don't think that I would lean towards it being fake is because, I had his first album, that 313 album,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't sound anywhere like
he did,
like in Slim Shady and all that. Like,
Mathers.
even his tone was different, and that tone matched the 313
Did
album.
it? Okay.
So I was like, ooh, that's tough. And I only say that to say, if you were trying to get like AI to generate Eminem saying some shit like that, I doubt it would be in that tone.
Yeah.
Like, AI would have had to done their research and been
Right.
like, well, you want it before?
Back then,
or
he sounded
recent,
like
or
this.
now? Exactly. But I mean, I really don't know that it changes anything.
Right. That's the
Like,
flip side
at
of
least
it
with
is,
me,
is
like, don't get me wrong, like, should he have said it? No, but what does it like? I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, OJ skipped out on the murder trial. Take away all his Heismans. Why?
right.
Did he not get
Unrelated.
right? Didn't he get those? Like, why can't he be a Heisman that ended up killing somebody as opposed to let's erase it? But that's the American
Yeah, what are you
way.
going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to take away his Heismans and then give it to somebody else?
Yeah, that's the
With a
American
big old
way,
asterisk that says-
erasing history and trying to rewrite the shit.
Right.
So it makes sense.
It does track.
It makes sense. But yeah, nah, I mean, oh well. You know what I'm saying?
You mean
I'm
there was
sure-
a rapper out there that
I'm sure that people I like less have said that word that I, like, watch or am entertained by.
Yeah.
So why would I give a fuck about all that?
Right.
That's a different era in time, baby.
Yep.
And he ain't said
And he hasn't done it in a song
he ain't
since.
said in the present of anybody.
And guess what? Dr. Dre's the one that brought him to the surface. So
Yeah, but you know he wasn't doing it. It wasn't all this internet back then like that. He didn't do his research to see what the
You don't think
albums
so?
was prior to.
I think
about
you would have
that.
had to have. I think you would have had
Think
to
about
have.
as many songs as I've done.
Yeah.
Think about as many. There's so many songs that I've done. I don't remember some of my songs.
Yeah.
So for someone to sign me and for me to expect that they've heard, all of
it.
Crazy.
That's fair.
Crazy, because we don't even have access to a lot of songs that we
Right.
made.
They found a CD.
Listen, that's the only way you're gonna find the.
Some of them.
Listen.
There's a lot of truth to that.
But yeah, nah. Oh well.
Right.
Oh fucking well. I still fuck with the homie. But did you hear about Russia saying that they'll send arms to Texas if they really bought it?
I did see that.
They said, listen, if y'all really try to go to war, listen, we will get you.
Go figure that they would be stirring the pot as well.
Right.
Have you
You
seen
hear what I'm
like
saying?
actual footage from down there? Like there is the road that like gets all the media coverage, and then
And then the opening,
like
and
a
the-
quarter
right
mile
down the-
away, there are
Right.
no gates, no nothing. Like, but we ready to go to war over this? Like bullshit. That is the media stirring shit up and trying to rile things up. Like, bureaucracy will win out there, and you won't ever hear about what the resolution was.
It's still, but that's still a dangerous move.
I hear you. It could be.
You're definitely sacrificing your queen by doing that.
Yeah.
Because if that goes left, you didn't round up a whole 25 states now.
Right.
That are like, oh, if we doing this, we on the way.
True.
So now if it's just settled, you got 25 states that are like, well, we ain't ready to go home yet. We was coming for some action.
Right.
There's no action. So we still got issues.
There's at least one with an itchy trigger finger.
But beyond that, now they know who we are.
Right.
We saw what happened on January 6th. There ain't no going back. They know us now. They know we're here. They know which one of us came down here.
Right.
Ski mask or not, cars, rental trucks, whatever the fuck you got is traced back to wherever the fuck you came from. Ain't no turning back.
No.
So you might as well just jump it off. That's what I say. Fuck they tea.
Keep going with the tea.
Fuck they tea. Listen, that was the first taxation revolt.
Right.
So it gotta be part duh. You know what I'm saying? The Tea Party part
Part 2. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting the whole Texas situation is interesting in the standpoint of, because it was the Texas National Guard that was the original, like, there to defend Texas,
right?
But doesn't the National Guard report into the armed forces?
I thought that they were
Army,
like
National
on some
Guard.
federal
it's
level.
the Army, isn't it? So
Yeah.
like
listen, that's another reason why I said you sacrificing your queen, right? Because that was the question that everybody had, is if we choose to go to war with our own country, how many of the armed forces show up for us and how many fight for them?
The federales, yeah.
And you got the lowest man on the totem pole. You feel what I'm saying? The lowest man on the totem pole shows up.
Well, no doubt, because the Air Force is part of the whole UFO cover-up, so they're in the federal pocketbook. They're in the corporate pocketbooks.
I mean, they all are at the end of the day, but like we said,
but that makes sense to me. Like,
so many levels.
The Army would be the biggest division, anyways, from a pure numbers standpoint, but the least technologically advanced.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, you gotta worry about who the Marines siding with.
Yeah.
You feel me? Who the Marines siding with? Who?
But that feels like they feel like they would be, and to your point, like, we don't know, but Marine Corps Army feels like it would be on the side of the people. Air Force Navy feels like it would be on the side of the powers that be.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take there.
Because those are the ones, right? Those are the ones. Right. Yep, exactly.
Those are your grunts. Those are the ones that don't feel like they get paid enough to do the shit that they have to do on a regular basis.
Yep, bingo.
And they don't.
No.
Quite frankly, they don't. But
those are the ones you want to be in the trenches with versus, But that's the problem, is if the other two divisions are the ones with the technology. Not to mention Space Force out there with whatever version of the Dragonfire laser.
Force, they ain't never cracked the firmament.
Whatever. I am sure there are satellites out there with the Dragonfire laser weapon on them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that.
Right. And who do you think's in charge, or who do you think has control of those? It's either the Air Force or Space Force.
But see, that at the end of the day, I don't think that. Okay,
or maybe Space Force is on the side of the people, and Trump was right.
That's interesting.
That's why he founded them.
He
was to get them out of the corporate pocketbooks.
He said, we need y'all up there just in case these motherfuckers pop off and try some shit, so you can come down there and try more shit. They hit them with the laser beam. I want you to hit them with the laser beam. You hear what I'm saying?
The best laser beam.
Right. It may be.
The greatest.
It may fucking be.
Huge laser beams.
You know?
Pew pew, pew pew.
You may be absolutely correct. I've never seen it. But see, like, who gives a fuck about shit like that, though? I mean, I know people give a fuck. But I'm saying, when you go into war, that would have to be the best thing in the world, right?
What do you mean?
Like, out of all the ways you could die at war, to go out by a big laser beam.
That you don't even feel it by the time you're incinerated.
And be stuck in the smooth criminal stand.
Been hit by a smooth
you know
criminal.
What I'm saying? And then 100 years, 150, 200 years go by, and they say that you just a rock. You know?
That's true.
Shit like that. That's easy pickings. You just shoot as much as you can and hope, pose for the camera and catch you. You gonna see a lot of people with ARs with their hands on their knees like this. Yeah, as soon as you see the flash, you better pose for the camera, baby, because.
Well, and that's another thing that's actually interesting to me, because the only picture I've seen of that particular laser system, direct energy weapon, was an infrared shot. Like, I don't even think it's in the visible light spectrum.
So you don't even see it coming. It could be walking its way downtown and you don't even know until it hits your ass.
Till you see things like bursting.
Oh no, but it was melting the pavement though. So you would see something.
You would see,
happen,
right?
Like, oh wait, what the fuck is going on here?
What is liquefying the? Oh no!
You're right. You better hope they get you from behind. No pause. You better hope you ain't see it coming, because if you see that coming, you might just stand there and be like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then it just zap your ass. You better hope you leave quick.
So, pro tip, if you see the ground melting in front of you in a straight line, get out of that straight line.
You know? I don't know. Maybe Trump's laser serpentine. We don't know.
Bob and weave.
You know, his shit is supposed to be great. That's what that is.
You know what else I find interesting is I've seen a lot more as of late UFO videos where the picture seems to be getting much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are almost not able to pull them down fast enough anymore.
I don't even know if it's a pull down thing.
Or do you think it's all
trust
fake?
These motherfuckers, man. I don't trust these motherfuckers. I feel like the only thing that's out there is what they want us to know.
I think that is probably largely true, but I do think it's picking up momentum in the sense that we may be getting close to a critical mass here where they can't stop every source.
And what is every source exactly?
I mean, like, where people aren't reporting it to the government and therefore, like, it's not coming back to them right away. And so it's not getting confiscated. It's not getting taken down. Because the volume is too much. Like, it's when you go to plug a hole and another one pops open or two more pop open. Like, that's kind of what I feel like is starting to happen now on that.
But, I mean, what do you think will happen if they feel like too much is out?
I think that eventually there will have to be some level of disclosure. And honestly, what I think will happen is it'll be something.
That these motherfuckers won't ride they died to the death of them?
No. I think they will give us just enough to continue to be able to do whatever it is the fuck they're doing.
See, my whole thing with that is I think before they would ever allow all of the information that they wanted out to be so widespread that they can't control it, they would shut the shit down.
That's what I'm saying. You think that they would like shut it down in sense of It would
shut
go
everything down. Shut the
further
grid
underground.
down. Yeah,
Okay.
shut everything down. Oh, yeah, y'all thought y'all was spreading information we didn't want spread yet. Grid shut down.
No, I think
Electric
that's
power, internet off.
it's the whole what is it? The
The
movie?
Barack Obama
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, it depends on how detrimental they thought it really was.
But that's another point that I meant to say about the civil or the war. I said, yeah, I guess it would be a civil war, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But my point is, we're so heavily run on capitalism right now. I don't think the war would end by way of an arm being pinned to the table. I think it would end based on numbers.
Yeah.
And, the powers that be being like, you know what? We have to secede. Not
it's a cost benefit analysis.
Not because we can't kill all of these people, but because if we do, we don't make the same revenue we make off of production, taxes, medical, you name it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to kill off your income.
It's going to cost us more to do that than it is to just let it go. Yeah.
Right.
No, I think there's truth to that.
And let me tell you something. If you're one of the motherfuckers that were alive, it's almost like...
honestly, that's the whole reason the North didn't let the South secede in the first Civil War. Because from a cost perspective, they needed the South's money.
But see, there's no secession, motherfucker. We all came over here.
Right.
We all came over here. We all distributed the land accordingly. So if you think you're going to take the land that was distributed evenly and leave with it, bitch, you got me fucked up. It's not about you succeeding. You can't. The only way you do that is if you leave. Leave. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck off of this land mass if you want to do that.
Right.
But you don't do it on it. I would think that, and I don't see myself as being an extremist.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is, if we knew that you were going to take your shit and run, maybe we wouldn't have split it up this way.
Yeah.
So now that you choose to say that we got to get you out of here. We got to get you out of here, because what you did is you tried to renegotiate the contract mid-payment of, and we don't do that.
Right.
So I get that. I get that 1,000%. Yeah. But what I was going to say is, whoever gets left behind, whoever doesn't get hit by the laser beam, or however they choose, them motherfuckers is going to have it the roughest. There is no surrender if people are going to do this. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you are one of the few left after it is all said and done, bruh, you think they're going to evenly distribute out the wealth to you to live? It's going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
You're going to be back to working for $5.25 an hour, if not free. And they're going to be like, what apartment did you think was affordable? This rubble right here? If I got to build it back up, your kids going to owe rent. And that's just for next month.
Right.
Just for next month. It's you couldn't pay it in your lifetime. Your children going to have to pay it.
But that comes back to, too, though, like, laws of supply and demand at that point. If half the people are gone and half the places are gone.
Well, like you said, BlackRock and Vanguard,
who can afford to pay anything anyways? And if no one can afford to pay the rent, then that's a dead asset.
We're already in trajectory for that right now. BlackRock and Vanguard have been on a mission to buy all of the free homes in the...
Oh, yeah, they have.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that we need, and I talked about this previously, like, there needs to be a vacancy tax. If your prices are so much that you have vacant properties, you get taxed until you bring down the price and they're filled.
That's actually smart. I don't think you ever said that to me because
I think we talked about it on an episode, but it was
we?
in passing. Yeah.
Well, I must have been smacked on that episode because that sounds like a good idea.
You said it then too.
It
You
couldn't
said it
have
was a
been
good
a-
idea then too. But yeah, I mean, that's how you start to address some of that stuff. But again, that comes back to the powers that be seeing that or actually giving a fuck about their people.
Listen, fuck they tea. Yeah, I mean, like I say the same thing about my place of employment. If it makes too much sense, it's not the right way to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Think it out logically to yourself. And if you come to a logical that's the wrong way.
It's not how we're gonna do this.
Yeah, you shouldn't. That you're absolutely you're on the wrong end of the spectrum right now. We need to bring it back. That's the truth, though, and that's how the world operates.
I mean, there's truth in that statement. I agree. Like, I don't know, and some of this is me being ignorant of it. But like, why the fuck are we still in the Middle East? Why do we care? Like, is it because we think Iran has nukes and we think they'll use them on us? Like, what purpose would that serve them? They have no way to get here and get the resources. Like, it's more trouble than it's worth. That's part of the reason why America went uncolonized for so long, was that it's a pain in the ass to deal with.
Well, they know it's only a few people in places that have kamikazes.
Yeah, what do you mean?
And that's a kamikaze, and I don't mean to like I don't want that to come off as, but we know that they're willing to give themselves for the cause.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's above them. So if you have an above me mentality there, why wouldn't you fire off a nuke? You know what our retaliation is going to be, but you already planned that ahead of time.
Right.
So if we got somebody that's willing to go themselves, that may possibly have, that could be a threat.
I mean,
to play devil's advocate.
Here's the other side of it, though. Like, Oppenheimer and the A-bomb and even the H-bomb are like 40-year-old technology. We have things that are more precise and more, I'm not going to say overall devastating, but
I mean, but a weapon is a weapon. You can get the job done.
Mutually assured destruction. Like,
we seen job.
What resources we going for? That, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it comes back to, is resources. And what resources do we have to offer? In fact, I think you and I had this talk. Maybe it wasn't you and I. Maybe it was a different thread. But it was basically like, the Americans don't produce anything anyways. We don't have resources to take. So what's the point of... Unless it's what you're saying and it's just to make a statement, but like, at the end of the day, like, our resource to the rest of the world is our capital. And that's it. Like, it's just the money flowing in and out. We don't produce goods that we're sending overseas. At least not in any kind of large quantities. Other than maybe entertainment, but like...
Yeah, so I was say the culture. That's it.
But that's it. Like...
the black culture, for real.
And guess what? That goes away, it'll be picked up by somebody else.
It can never go away, though.
K-pop's pretty popular, man. I don't know.
It'll never go away. I mean, K-pop is popular because, let's be honest, that the like Asian population, and I mean as a whole, I mean include them all.
There's a lot of them.
You know what I'm saying? And once they get behind something, the numbers don't match ours at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Now us, we're so liberal, conservative, left, right, red, blue, black, white, that it's stuck. You know what I'm saying? In this specific microcosm, this specific group of culture enjoys this. Yeah. This specific group of culture enjoys that. They enjoy this too, but they won't admit to it a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it goes on and on and on and on. It's not like that there.
Yeah.
But there may be the only place where predominantly all I see is me. I am my own representation. Every movie I see has me in it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I got you on that.
And even if you live across the pond, you still looks like me though.
Yeah.
You don't have that nowhere else.
That's true.
Which is why segregation is the... No,
the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily those of either of the hosts or the Foolproof Entertainment Network in ownership by Foolproof Enterprises, LLC.
I'm telling you, that needs to be in front of the show. That needs to be in front of the show, man.
All right, man. You got anything?
I'm gonna say some shit. Nah, nothing else comes to mind.
Well, that was a solid episode for the fact that it was nothing but rambling. So, props to you. Great show. The greatest.
Listen.
Your Trump's better, though. I haven't heard that one in a while from you, but...
Who, mine?
Yeah, yours used to be really good.
I don't even know that I do...
You used to.
Expressions. But I do seem to... What's it called? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but I can snap into some shit if I'm feeling it.
You find the zone.
It's like I tap into they frequencies and I download their information, but it's only if my chakras are aligned.
I get it, and they're probably not right now. They're probably out of alignment as you're missing half a limb. So
I need a chakra practor ASAP.
All right, man. Well, love everybody.
Love them all.
Do us a favor,
Did I give you reason not to? No.
Do us a favor, share,
Fuck
subscribe.
Fuck they tea at that point.
Fuck they tea. Tell a friend to tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell them to troll them. With all that, peace out, folks.